You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV Spartacus After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV Spartacus After Show.
Welcome, welcome, Spartacus fans. We hope you didn't miss us last night, but we are doing Spartacus this morning, bright and shiny for you on a Saturday morning. You are with Spicy Mari in the building and Sean Overman, who will be our fabulous host for the Spartacus show. Episode 7, Season 2, even though I always say we consider it 3 because the second one was a prequel.
Yep.
And this episode is Sacramentum.
That's right, Spicy. And we got an outline for you guys today. We are doing relationships to start off, and we'll talk about some new characters too. We're going to be talking about our favorite quotes of the episode, breaking down how to speak Sparty. And we'll be doing a little bit of shout outs to some of our fans there on Twitter and anybody else who's following and looking at us on AFTERBUZZ.com. And we'll take a little break then, talk about some news and gossip, do some behind the scenes stuff, some fitness tips to look like Spartacus.
Nice.
And we'll do our predictions at the end, as usual.
Pretty soon by the end of this show, I plan on looking like Spartacus because you've given so many tips and I've started using them. So those of you at home, follow Sean's regimen that he's going to give you at the end.
That's right.
So beginning this episode.
Well, I also want to say this as you guys are listening. Obviously, these guys do an amazing job, and the fact that they're even here on a Saturday morning shows their dedication to the show. And no, it's not because they couldn't do it yesterday because they were out drinking.
No, not us.
No. Well, Spicy was working. She was on a movie premiere covering it, and so that's why we couldn't do it yesterday. And so obviously these guys put in the time and effort. They each week they come up with regimens for you guys. They compile the news and gossip. And so all we ask of you in return is A, tell a friend, and B, rate us and comment on us on iTunes. It really means the world to us, and it's all we ask for in return. It takes literally 10 seconds. Yeah. Maybe 15 if you're computer illiterate.
We love feedback too, so we can know what else you guys want to know, where there's areas of improvement, what we're doing amazing at. So yeah, definitely make sure you leave some comments and rate us on iTunes. Thank you for that, Phil. So let's get right into it because this was not so much an intense fighting episode as it was an emotional relationship building dramaful one, right?
That's right. There was a lot of tension here, and we open up the tension almost immediately. We see Lucius going into this, talking to the slaver. They're in Neapolis trying to recruit some new men, and then we have right away Agron and Spartacus having that tension, that headbutting again. Even though Agron is his right-hand man, we still see him, clashing and butting heads, and always, Agron always says, "Damn Gauls, I hate those Gauls." Okay, and we see them recruiting some new men, and one of them is that big guy, Seddulus.
Right.
What did you think about him?
So Seddulus seems like he's pretty tough, but kind of mocking as well of the gladiators. He seemed like he was more about the Germans and their brotherhood than he was about the brotherhood of the gladiators as a whole.
Of course.
And that was very obvious later on. But in the beginning, in order to bring him into the family, I felt like he wasn't ungrateful. I felt like he was ungrateful and he wasn't humble after having been saved by Spartacus on the what was that, a boat that they were pulled from, like a slave ship.
Yeah,
and I thought that they should have been, but I did appreciate that they had jumped in and helped free everyone.
Yeah, I agree. And when speaking about Agron again, so at the beginning of the episode, I felt like, man, he's like becoming a threat to Spartacus. You know, he like keeps clashing with him, and he always pledges his allegiance, but at the same time, it feels like, oh man, like is something going to happen? Is he going to be like another nemesis within their group?
Yeah, they keep trying to tease us, kind of making us think that he's going to eventually turn. But then surprisingly, something always happens where he pledges his allegiance again, and we forgive him. So we want to hate Agron kind of in a way, but we can't.
No, we can't.
So I think that they're building it up pretty good for us, though.
Yeah, I agree with you. So again, this time, I think this was the most I've ever seen him defiant in the episodes, and it was so insane how like later on, and you know, all this tension building and all these, you know, the Germans there and them clashing with the you know, it's like those new loud, obnoxious people you get at a party, you know, like you're the host of the party, like Spartacus is the host, you know, he's got these people there and he's just sitting back and like enjoying the show.
Who invited you guys to the party?
Yeah, he's like, oh gosh, you know.
But I think that Spartacus is trying to make everybody kind of love each other and be in unison, so that because he realizes that it's the brotherhood that will make and help them be able to fight and defeat the Romans. But at the same time, there's tension between the leadership because they want to follow Agron. They're not obeying Spartacus's orders as far as going and hunting. That was the first rule that was broken right there. That was very disrespectful. Yeah, and
Agron said that he was going to go out hunting right at dawn, and Spartacus was supposed to join him. But you know, the Germans are making fun of Spartacus in their Germanic language and their country's tongue.
And their tongue.
Yes. And he's like, you know, you guys need to speak common. You got to learn how to speak like us. So and then of course it all comes to that climax at the end where he defaces. He ripped the face off of Seddulus with that sword.
Well, how did it get to that point? Because we see that he's obviously, like, they wouldn't have just killed him for no reason. He deserved to die. And he deserved to die at Spartacus's hand. But he was defiant the entire episode. And so we knew that this was somebody who could possibly be a good warrior and gladiator, but at the same time was going to cause problems. Because this leads into what happened between him and Naevia.
That's right. And of course, Naevia, we see her, you know, we saw a little bit of her with Crixus this episode. And I'm glad to say that she is looking more fierce and I'm earning more respect. She's earned my respect.
Crixus is training her. I'm so proud. This is all that I asked for. If you guys were with us on AfterBuzz episode 1 when we gave our recap, I was saying from the beginning, I want to see Naevia come back. I want to see her do an amazing, strong job and kind of follow in Mir's footsteps and contributing to the camp. And now she's finally stepping up.
That's right. So I'm really glad to see that stuff.
But her and Crixus kind of have this, like, they're warming back up to each other. It seems like they're doing pretty well.
Yeah, and I like it. I'm glad to see that stuff.
Yeah, I'm definitely happy for them. But then we see an interruption with the Seddulus.
That big Germanic man.
He tries to take advantage of Naevia.
And I could tell that there was going to be trouble right away. And it was really shocking that Crixus didn't know what was going on because he was away from all the action. Obviously, Seddulus and Naevia were segregated in that room. And when they come out, you know, the two German boys are fighting, and Crixus is just like, oh, let them fight. But then
he's so caught up with being angry at Agron and what he's doing that he's not even watching his woman around these new strangers that are joined in part of the camp.
That's right, and it's a good thing that he got in there, and I was rooting for him when he got in there and started choking Seddulus. I actually thought he was going to kill him right there, but that would have been too easy.
Well, don't you appreciate the fact that Agron still once again has proved his allegiance by jumping in and saving Naevia? Because had he not done that, she would have been deflowered again.
Yeah.
And so I just really appreciate, once again, him showing his loyalty because he could have allowed that to happen, but he didn't. And that shows, once again, his allegiance to the Brotherhood. So every time we want to get mad, we can't.
You're right.
And I appreciate Crixus jumping in as well and getting a part of the action because it turned into a huge brawl.
It did. It was really huge. And that's the way we settle our arguments in Spartacus.
It's fighting, right? Fighting is the answer.
Every time there's disagreements within the group, there's always a fight that breaks out. And then guess who comes in? And it's his strong suit, Spartacus. He comes in. We've talked about this a lot of times. He is really strong and he just puts his foot down and people just, you know, all of his men, they can't help but follow him. Because he's the one who kicked butt. He was the rainmaker in the arena.
Definitely.
He was the one who brought down the house of Badiatus. He's leading everybody. And everybody, including that new guy, Lugo, who is the other, like, #2 German guy.
Right, Lugo stepped up after he killed Seddulus.
Yes, and I kind of had the feeling like, okay, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna take up arms and try and hurt him, or is he gonna pledge his allegiance? And obviously, he ended up pledging.
I like that they addressed too that the Germans that are now a part of the gladiator army / camp is very vocal. They're very loud. We see them playing like a lot of instruments with their weapons, and we also see them singing a lot. They're very, like, I don't know if that's a cultural thing that they tried to address, but I thought that it was cool to show the separation between the two. The gladiators are a lot more quiet, a lot more relaxed. We only hear them when they're fighting, and then here comes this loud group making the camp all, you know, exciting. So it was interesting to see the different dynamics.
Well, I would probably say it's because even though all the gladiators, former gladiators, rebels, they're slaves, you know, they're all from different walks of life. They've lived with Romans so much that the Romans are probably, you know, much quieter, supposedly more civilized people compared to the German barbarians. So those Germans, they're always fighting all the time, and that's how they have fun, and they're always drinking, you know. And then here we have the rebels who are now like trying to train themselves to discipline themselves more, and they're trying to get along with everybody, so they're acting more civil. Those two clashed, and the Seddulus being beheaded was the result.
Right, and I'm sure Crixus was pretty happy about that because he was trying to warn Spartacus the entire time. Watch out for this group. I think that they're going to pose a threat, and unfortunately he was proven wrong by Agron, but he was right about Seddulus.
Yeah, absolutely right. So let's talk about the Romans now. So we go over to the square and we see Gannicus following the magistrate around, begging for money because he doesn't have any. He didn't get any from the fight.
I feel so bad for Gannicus right now.
Yeah, I absolutely do too. And he's in a hard position right now.
Right, because he's supposed to play a leadership role also. Once you are god of the arena, you hold your head up high. You're supposed to get and be able to do anything that you put your mind to. And he is in a very weak and vulnerable place right now, and still kind of stubborn too, because he's posed with the option to either join the gladiator army of his brothers, which he's choosing not to do, or he can join Glaber.
That's right. And he's pretty much, you know, he's like, I said last time, he's kind of like a pacifist, you know? He's walking this fine line that's dividing him between those two camps, and he's stuck somewhere in the middle. He doesn't know which way to go yet. And obviously he's pushed into it. Glaber tries to tease him with the rudus that was found, which was a symbol of freedom.
Right, but that was initiated by Ashur, who you pointed out, oh, okay, I see some friction going on between them once again.
That's
Ashur's causing trouble, and he starts picking kind of threats at the whorehouse to Gannicus. He just loves getting under people's skin, and I hate Ashur.
Yeah, I do too. But oh man, and speaking of Ashur and his relationship with Lucretia, that's turning into something completely different now.
What is this transference of power? She is completely under his whim right now. She has no freedom of her own because she's having to follow exactly what he says, and she has to call him Dominus.
Yeah, and he is taking a really dominant man role now, and he's just, you know, he's punishing her.
Yeah, he is.
He's for everything, you know. And what's funny is it's kind of like it's almost like I want to say he's in love with her now in a sick, demented kind of way.
Yeah, it is. It's almost like he's inflicting pain, but yet he still cares about her.
Yeah.
Because there is an awkwardness in their relationship because they do have this love-hate. She was his master originally, and so now, the hands have turned, and he's in control, but she is very tricky, and I keep trying to say Lucretia is going to plot against him, and the worst thing that you can ever do is turn against her, because she will orchestrate an entire rebellion against you, and with just a couple words. She's very cunning.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So she's sitting there, you know, after she's been violated, raped by Ashur. She's sitting there, she's lying there, and you could tell she doesn't have a very pleasant time. But Ashur says that, you know, I felt something different this time. You enjoyed it.
She jerked her pelvis, he said.
Yeah, and that was pretty interesting for her to say, you know, and I'm wondering, is she saying that because she's, you know, in the position where she could be, you know, smacked around again, or is she just saying that because she did actually, maybe a small part of her is enjoying it? She hasn't slept with a guy in a while?
I don't think any of her is enjoying it. I think that she's being 100% violated. I do not think that because it's not by her will. She's doing it in order to survive, and so Ashur doesn't tell Glaber what's going on, because Ashur has a lot of stuff on Lucretia. She's put herself in a very, very tricky situation. So right now she's just playing along with it, and then she's gonna attack like a pit bull later. You already know that.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. She's she's laying in wait, and she's gonna strike when the moment is good. And
go ahead. No, sorry.
Oh, I was gonna mention that he, obviously after the whole the raping scene, he gives her a gift, which is like, here's a little consolation for you.
It's like an abusive relationship that he, rewards her for the pain and suffering afterwards. But it was a wig, a red wig.
Yeah, and remember, she always used to wear different colored wigs all the time.
But she used to wear that for Bariatus.
She did.
And now she's wearing it for Ashur.
And what's interesting is when he actually mentioned, oh, I want to look up and see you there, with wearing that wig. I never thought about that. Like, everybody else obviously has, usually like blonde, dirty blonde, usually hair. There's also, the typical people that are brunettes. And there's a lot more of those in the crowd, like in the arena and stuff. The reason why she must have been wearing red was to look special. Because no one else, how many other people had red wigs?
That's true. There's no one else we've seen, none of the other women. That's so true.
So that was pretty interesting. Maybe that was a way for people to, because they're far away from you in the arena, to look and say, oh, that person's special, that person stands out. So that was interesting stuff.
Well, red is also a color of evil, of blood. It can be positive, but I think on Spartacus it's very negative. Anytime we see red, it's usually insinuating blood.
Yeah, well, actually in the first season, the blood and sand, it was like glory. It's like the tears of blood. It was glory and honor and blood and glory, man. So that's.
But on vengeance, does it mean the same?
Vengeance? No, it doesn't. It has a different connotation.
Right, I think so. So we see her wearing the wig for him, and then we see also her gaining closer relationship with Ilithyia as well, because Ilithyia is going through the same torment kind of right now that I think is bringing her closer to Lucretia and making her more trustworthy.
Each of the men that they're partnered with right now are abusing them.
Exactly. And so in this time of need, they're seeking comfort within each other's bosom.
Yeah,
as they would say on Spartacus.
Yes, and I love that. I love the bosoms. She was expressing, Ilithyia was, how she felt like she wanted to kill herself. Did you recall that scene? She said she wanted to throw herself off the cliff. And that was pretty interesting. And even Lucretia said, yeah, if you do that, then you'll find me at the bottom of the cliff as well.
Yes,
That's
she was pledging her loyalty as well.
Yeah.
So we see them getting closer in this relationship because they're now comforting each other and also trying to plot and plan together how to get rid of Glaber and get their freedom back. Because right now they feel like they're slaves.
That's right. And that's a really good point. And their bond is strong again. We've seen them go through this roller coaster of emotions. When they first met each other, they loved each other. They always had those passionate kisses with the that sound effect.
Your favorite moment.
And they're bringing that back a little bit more.
Woman on woman action is Sean's favorite, you guys.
Great stuff. So their bond is strong again. We went through this trough where they wanted to kill each other, and even at the beginning of the season, Ilithyia wanted to stab Lucretia.
Oh yeah, they were going to pull each other's hair out.
That's
right. Because they both have ammunition on one. They both have incriminating evidence that they can both destroy each other with. Mm-hmm. So what else can make you? That's the best thing to pull you together to be best friends.
And even at the end, where she was actually seeing her out of the villa to go back to Rome or whatever it was, with that whole the baby's in pain, she must leave.
Can we talk about that for a second? Was that not an amazing plan that she devised? Lucretia is a mastermind. I'm sorry. She's my favorite character on the show by far. And it is because she will do anything in order to get what she wants. She plots almost like a miscarriage, a semi-miscarriage, I guess, making it seem as if Ilithyia is having complications during her pregnancy in order to get Ilithyia into Rome and to save herself as well.
That's right, but actually the plans got ruined a little bit by Ashur because he wants to keep her there. Does he want to keep having sex?
He wants to keep abusing her.
He wants to keep abusing her. He wants that. He can't get any love. No one gives him any love. No woman wants to be with him. Naevia didn't want to be with him. She despised him, and Lucretia obviously doesn't want to be with him. But he's got her under his thumb. That's the big difference.
Totally. And Glaber went for it. He allowed Lucretia to stay and wouldn't let her go.
And speaking of Lucretia again, so man, that plot. So she wanted Gannicus, Ganny for short. That's what I've been writing in my notes. She wanted Ganny.
Right, she devised this plan,
to go ahead and assassinate Glaber. Man, that is pretty crazy stuff.
She gave him all the steps of where Ilithyia would be going, traveling, everything, and that she was going to be able to allow him to come into the house and kill Glaber. But what does Gannicus do?
Gannicus went and he actually intercepted the cart that was carrying, or the convoy that was carrying Ilithyia.
Carriage.
Yeah. Convoy with all the Roman guards and whatnot. Yeah, carrying her. And I actually didn't expect that to happen.
I didn't either. I thought that was extremely intelligent because he said he said he didn't want to choose sides. And in that moment, he made a decision. When Lucretia gave him that information, he used it to his advantage and intercepted and captured Ilithyia, knowing that that would be a message right there to Glaber, and left his sword inside of the other guard.
Yeah, that was actually, I forgot that guy's name, but the tattoo face guy.
The tattoo face guy. You guys know what we're talking about.
Yeah, so but that was a really interesting scene. And to backtrack a little bit to other interesting scenes, oh man, we finally got to see Seppia's boobies.
Oh my God.
She has.
That was the highlight of the show.
And of course we had to have some sex scenes in there. It's Spartacus, and we saw some in the whorehouse, and then we go over to a little bit classier sex scene when finally she gets to be with Glaber.
That was actually a pretty intense lovemaking scene. I was surprised that, well, I wasn't surprised that she snuck into his bed because I knew that there was going to be some kind of interaction between them, but I thought that Gannicus was going to come in and interrupt their lovemaking.
Yeah, that's right.
And of course, Spartacus always throws us off. That's not what happened.
No, it didn't. But when she first revealed herself, I was thinking that too. I thought it was Gannicus, and I was like, wait, it could be Seppia. Yeah, it ended up being Seppia. And she, when she takes off her robe, she had, at first glance, I was like, man, she looks so young.
She does look very youthful.
And obviously that's why they chose her, because she's supposed to be like 10 years younger than all the other women on the show.
But she's very beautiful.
She's very beautiful.
And she's great at making love scenes.
And yeah, I agree. But it was interesting because at first she looked kind of like, I was like, ooh, I'm kind of getting turned off here because she looks too young. Her body doesn't look that great. It didn't look like she had a nice enough bosom, sticking out enough.
You didn't feel like she was matured enough.
But once they got a side angle on there, and I was like, oh, okay, that's a lot better. I'm good now. Those things are sticking out enough.
I know you're 12,
right.
But girls these days are way ahead.
Those are our special sound effects from Phil. but that was a crazy scene because they were very passionate in that moment, and I knew that it was eventually going to happen, and we just finally got to see it because it was tormenting Ilithyia to see Seppia and Glaber kind of flirting with each other
openly.
And she doesn't. She even admits, she's like, I don't even recognize who this man is. I used to think he was weak, and now I fear him.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen that in the last 3 episodes. He's transitioned so much from being this uptight guy who kind of gave his wife a lot of leeway to being this dude now who's ruthless.
And we said the entire time, we want more of Glaber. We want to know who he is, develop his character. And maybe the writers were watching AFTERBUZZ TV and were listening to us because they definitely gave us what we wanted.
Thankfully.
Yes.
Thankfully.
And so who else do we have to cover for our relationships? Okay. So Gannicus and the whore.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So she was in the last 3 episodes. He really liked her a lot.
I was hurt to see her go, not because she was an intricate character, but because of what she symbolized. She was willing to join Spartacus. She was talking and getting kind of messages in Gannicus's head about fighting with the gladiators. And I think that affected Gannicus a little bit.
That's what must have pushed him over the edge to make that decision.
Right.
There was someone he was in hope of loving. She symbolized that hope, that other life, and it was tarnished and ruined because she wanted to follow Spartacus.
Gannicus asked her to come away with him and not to follow Spartacus.
That's right. And because of that, that someone must have heard her say it in the whorehouse there, and she ends up being crucified.
Yeah. Well, who probably is up to it was Ashur. They didn't show us, but we know. Ashur saw them together. He was like, that's how I'm going to stab you, kind of undercut you, and that's how he got Gannicus.
That's right.
He was trying to strike fear in Gannicus's heart, and instead, vengeance.
That's right. Vengeance. That's the overall theme. And they actually mentioned it quite a bit this episode,
They did. And I was watching some of the reviews from the episode when it first aired last night, and all the writers are saying, from like tvguide.com and all them are saying, how many times are we going to hear the word vengeance in one episode? But I like it. I like that they're reminding us that what they're doing is not seeking justice, but they're seeking vengeance, as Seppia asked for.
Yes.
She said it herself.
It's a lot better. It's more ruthless than justice is.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
So let's move into doing our favorite quotes now.
Yes, because we have tons.
And let's go ahead and remind the audience that we're going to be doing some favorite quotes. We'll be doing some shout outs in a little bit. and news and gossip. And of course, we'll wrap up the episode later on.
Yes, awesome. Okay, so what quotes do you have? Because I have tons. I already know which one you're going to go after.
Oh, I like to get them down, of course, like as the episode progresses. Gotta say the people, you need to turn down your radios if you don't want your children to hear this. So the German said, and they said this in German, which was pretty interesting, cock hardens at the fucking thought.
Yes, that was the thought of killing all the Romans, right?
Yeah.
That was who said that?
Seddulus
yeah.
did, yes. Funny stuff.
Well, I always love Gannicus making reference to his coin. And so this one, my purse has suffered fatal blow.
Oh,
so that's
like
his
that.
way of saying, okay, I'm broke.
I like that one too. I actually had that quote also. Damn it, you stole it from me.
So I'm going to start telling people that when I need some money, my purse is suffering fatal blow. See if you can give me anything.
That's a nicer way to say it.
That is, instead of, can you put some money in my hand?
Yeah. And right after that scene, actually, within the same scene, Ashur approaches and he tells Gannicus, when the whore leaves, enticing creature, of course you never lack the attention of fine women.
Which is true. Gannicus always has women.
He always has beautiful women around him, and that's the three things he loves to do. He loves to fight, he loves to drink wine, and he loves the company of beautiful women.
Right, exactly. And I think that one thing that Spartacus has been really good with is showing us different character isms and nuances that they constantly do every single episode. And you pointed out that Gannicus is always drinking. He's always got cup in hand or a bottle of something. He's always liquored up. And then you also said, too, that Ashur is always having like nuts in his hands or eating and picking at something.
He always, it looks like he's eating walnuts or something, or some kind of small dried fruit, something like that. And speaking of Ashur,
bonus points if you can come up with the 3 Fs.
The 3 Fs.
The 3 Fs?
Are we talking about foul language here?
No, I actually mine was gonna be fornicate, but where does your mind go?
Oh, I was thinking F-U-C-K. Am I far off?
And what was
I was gonna go with fornicate.
Oh, okay.
And what was the last one?
Yeah, what's
Phil?
the last one?
Or
I'm trying to figure out an F for drinking.
Flagellation? Oh no, that doesn't count, right?
Fine wine? I don't know.
I don't know the other S, but I'm sure Phil will find out and get back to us.
Please get back to us.
Another quote that I appreciated Ganniucus saying, and he had some good ones I felt like this episode, was, "No man is ever truly free."
Yeah.
He was saying this to the whore when she was trying to get him to come over to Spartacus and join the gladiators in their army. And I feel like it's that sentiment that has him kind of feeling sorry for himself and feeling that he needs that sword to validate himself and feeling that he'll never really truly be free. And so I just felt like that was kind of symbolic of his mentality and this like thin line that he's walking in self-pity.
That's right. And now, as of this episode, he's no longer an obedient dog.
I love that they finally had a turning point for him. And they did that for Naevia for us as well. And now they're doing that for Gannicus for us. There's always this turning point where we get to see them weak, and then boom, strong.
And the person who still is an obedient dog, he hasn't had a turning point yet. Well, maybe a little bit because he's more in control. Ashur, his talents are of the shadows. I would present you to glorious light. And that was Glaber when he was talking to Gannicus. And he was saying, "Oh, why don't you already have another brother from Batiatus's house." He's like, no, I need you. I need you. He stays in the shadows. That's
actually kind of flattering, though.
It is.
Like that, just to say that. What if you said that to a woman? I think she would love that.
Oh, the glorious light.
The glorious light.
I need to present you to glorious light.
That's some good game right there, guys.
I'm going to use that tonight when I go see my lady friend.
Okay, so I have a spicy quote.
Go ahead.
This one is kind of something that I'm surprised, aren't giving out. It's unforgivable to come between men and cunt.
Oh, yeah, that was Ashur.
Anything
right there.
cunt or cock related, Sean always picks up on.
And I got my last one. World has slipped from reason. I mean only to restore it.
Now, who said that one?
That was Lucretia when Gannicus and her were having that conversation about the assassination attempt on Glaber.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
Because he was like, "Have you lost mind?" And then she responds with that thing.
Oh, see, and I love that. Have you lost mind?
Yes.
Instead of saying, "Are you crazy?"
I love that. I need to start saying that to people.
Well, we start talking like them after a while.
I feel like it too.
Okay, so my last one is, sometimes wine and foolishness are needed to form stronger bond. Now, can I just say that here at AfterBuzz, we kind of do this a lot. Not always the wine part, but we'll get together outside of the show and we'll do karaoke. We'll go to Big Wangs and we'll just have fellowship together and talk about the shows on here and what we're doing with AfterBuzz, and sometimes perhaps have a drink beside us. But I honestly agree with this quote. Sometimes you do need that downtime when it's not just work to enjoy one another's company, and it does build stronger bonds sometimes when you get to be playful and silly with each other.
And that was little piano player.
There's your fun music.
That is the violin right there with the piano. Hey, party!
Oh, I like this.
I think Phil agreed with my statement.
It feels like it's back to being Friday night again.
Hey. Was that the last of our quotes, or do you have anything else juicy?
I think that was it. Now let's do some shout outs to our fans out there who are following us on Twitter. So someone's been tweeting at you a lot. Who's your fan?
Mr. MG Universe?
Ah.
Okay, shout out to Mr. MG Universe because he always has great commentary. He watches every single AfterBuzz episode that we do for Spartacus, and then he poses questions as well. Like last week, he tweeted at me and said, "Don't you think that it's kind of odd that Agron is always saying that slaves can't be gladiators, but yet he has fallen in love with Tiberius?" Who has proven himself worthy of fighting and that he has trained. And so I thought that was a great point because they have transferred all these slaves into now serious fighters. But in opposition to his comment, I replied, yeah, they are great fighters and they can be trained, but they can't be gladiators in the arena.
No, they can.
I'm sorry, that takes great skill. Yeah. So yes, you can be a fighter, but not a gladiator.
Absolutely, and that's even, that's shown with Ashur. He was the weakest gladiator. He still kicks butt, man.
Oh, and that was a great scene they had of Ashur last week, kicking ass.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's got that new look now and everything.
And we also have to give a special shout out to the UK.
Oh yeah.
We have a lot of followers that watch Spartacus on AfterBuzz in the UK, and they said, "Spicy Marty, Sean Overman, can you guys please give a shout out to the UK Spartacus fans?" So shout out UK Spartacus fans. You guys can follow us on AfterBuzzTV.com or on Twitter at AfterBuzzTV, and then you can also follow myself, Spicy_Marty. And
me at the Sean Overman. That's TheSeanoverman.
And you also have a blog that people can tune into as well.
I do. You guys can check out my blog, SeanOverman.org. Pretty easy to find.
Yeah, so please contact us, tweet at us, let us know your thoughts on the show, leave your reviews on our iTunes page.
And you guys can Bing us too. Which leads me into, you guys need to check out the Bing app on me and Spicy Mar, we both have iPad 2s. And if you guys have an iPad, download the Bing app. That thing is freaking awesome. I use it daily because, on my blog, I like to do a lot of movie stuff. I'm your go-to guy for Netflix decisions. So you guys need, I like to look at the movies that are, out in the box office right now. Who's number one? What's making the most money?
Yeah.
What's trending? And you can also check out the trending news. It's pretty cool. I love using the Bing app.
I love that feature, the trending news.
Yeah, and it gives you the news from the last week each day. It just shows you pictures and one quick little maybe 5-word sentence or something, or maybe even 2 or 3 words about what that picture is and what's trending and why. And you can research that stuff. The way the Bing app works is just amazing. I love using it all the time.
And I'm going to be downloading the Bing app today now that you have recommended that. I appreciate that because I always use it, but now I need to download the app. And so, yes, exactly.
And the reason is because you guys are so busy. You guys are doing stuff. You don't have time to be there researching.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
can't
you want to
get
what you need to do. You want to do it, and you can do all the way down to hey, I want to figure out what restaurant I'm going to so I can have fun tonight.
Right.
We got to reward ourselves tonight because it's Saturday.
Woo!
And we got to do that quick so we get there.
Exactly.
And move on with our day.
Exactly.
That's right.
So everybody needs to download, get that Bing. Get your Bing on.
Get your Bing on. Bing it. If you don't know it, Bing it.
Exactly. So we're going to take a little commercial break right now, and you guys are going to hop on Bing, look up more Spartacus information, tweet at us, all that good stuff.
AfterBuzz TV. Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And, like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
Dearest Spartacus fans, today is a most special day indeed. A day where Lady Saxa gets to meet her hero, the one and only Xena, warrior princess. But first, I must go in disguise. Come with me.
Okay.
We'll talk about
All
it.
right. Oh, yes. Thank you, Phil.
Yes.
Can't show up with wrinkly costume.
She is hot.
This is Saxa. She is the new character introduced. She's creating herself into Lucy Lawless's character, Xena Warrior Princess.
Oh, I got you.
She's a huge fan, so she was excited to be working on the show with her.
Darling.
She's doing her transition.
I love the music.
I know, isn't it intense?
Man, I do not. Is this the Xena theme music? I did not remember this.
You don't remember this?
No. Oh my gosh.
I was more partial to Hercules.
To Hercules? Oh, I loved Hercules too.
Yeah, I like Hercules better.
But Xena was so cool. She was a badass.
I love these daggers that we're seeing.
I don't know.
I wonder if they're
It's like
real.
choosing favorite child, really.
Oh wow. So this is her completely dressed.
Oh my gosh. There you go, man. Look, she is the spitting image of
We are
Xena.
officially ready for XenaCon.
That is hilarious.
This traffic is utterly ridiculous. Come on!
So this is a
Haste makes waste,
joke
people.
that she played on Lucy Lawless before the show.
This is utterly ridiculous.
She created this kind of like
Come
as
on.
a spoof.
I see.
She's playing a little jokey joke on her.
Did she just flash her weapons at people?
Yeah.
Oh, she could flash something else.
Oh.
Giggity. Oh man, I like her
There it
setup.
is, like a beacon in the night. Xena, 2012. You and I shall reunite once again. Xena, I'm only steps away from you. I can hear the purr of your voice right now.
The purr of your voice.
Oh my god, I'm so excited!
Is she using a flip cam for this?
Yeah, it kind of looks like it's a camera phone, right? Okay, so she's about to probably go. That's so funny.
Freaking out.
Well, at least we know Ellen Holman has a sense of humor.
Yeah. Great. I like this. It's so genuine.
She's not afraid to embarrass herself.
I went home and freshed up immediately, and John drank a whole bottle of scotch. It was stressful. It was really stressful.
Hello, Xena. First
Hello,
of all,
Xena.
I just want to say it is an honor and privilege. Yes. Two-part question, actually. One, what advice can you give an aspiring German warrior? And two, my comrade Spartacus wasn't here today, so I was hoping you may sign an autograph for him and also say, love, Saxa.
I can't right now, okay? Because then we have an overrun, so, you know, lawyers needing autographs.
Lucy Lawless doesn't know that that's her.
Really?
Oh, the first was, what advice could you give an aspiring German warrior?
German warrior?
German warrior. Did you say German? German.
German warrior.
Man muss viel Fleisch essen und
I think she gets it now, though. I think Lucy Lawless
a
caught
lot
on.
of meat and keep your sword very sharp Ein Schwert muss scharf.
Okay, thank you, Phil, for that.
I like her setup on that presentation that she did. Like, it looks like a Prezi presentation. Have you ever heard of that?
No, what is that?
It's like this new way of doing stuff. Instead of just PowerPoints, it's actually this new. It's been out there for a couple of years now, but it jumps around. Like it goes.
Oh,
from
okay, yeah, that's what she was doing on the video.
Clip to clip, and it's like there's an overall like theme on there that if you zoom out, you can see it, and then there's like all those tiny little clips or whatever parts of the presentation within there.
Well, we just learned that Ellen Holman is not just great at making fun of herself, but also editing her own footage so that she can play pranks on Lucy Lawless, who plays Lucretia on Spartacus. But also, Ellen is playing Saxa, who's a new character that's introduced to us on Spartacus that we see for the first time, who is
AfterBuzz TV News.
Right.
Yeah. I like that.
Thank you. It's our news time. But she is a German warrior that we see has an intense fighting scene with Mira, Katrina Law.
And I thought that was a very sexy cat fight scene, might I add. And I think it's the first one that we've seen with actually two warrior women, two rebel women fighting against each other. Very fascinating.
And it was kind of slow motion, right? Was that camera that you were talking about?
No, you know what? Maybe a little bit. I was taking notes, I think, at that time, or maybe I was just so mesmerized by the beautiful women on screen.
Because it was slow motion swings and like hair pulling and like head throwing back, and it was pretty intense. But it was in slow motion so that we can see every single fist land on the cheek.
And it looked like, you know, it couldn't be a cat fight without some claws and slapping. And I think Saxa slapped at one point, and then Mira countered with a fist. Bam!
Oh, wow. Well, you know, in the scene for Spartacus, and I don't know if it's on this episode or if it's on the one that we're going to see with Katrina Law and Ellen Holman, but she's going to be around for a second on the next couple episodes, and they have a fighting scene where at the end they played a joke on the rest of the cast and kissed each other at the end. Woo. And so from what Katrina says, the scene stayed in the episode. So we didn't see it this time, so they must fight again.
I can't wait until I see that.
Once again, woman on woman action. Sean loves it.
Yeah, go Saxa. And it looks like she's up here on the screen right now.
Yeah, she's helping the gladiators beat the slaves. Beat the
slavers.
guards.
Oh yeah, so this is the scene right in the beginning of Sacramentum, episode 7, where she's holding one of the guards back. It looks like a Roman guard or a slaver guard, whatever. And this allows the other men, the other rebels, to go ahead and slit everybody else's throats,
right,
so that they can all escape.
Because she grabbed him first, she initiated fighting back.
And I didn't know that was her, but it totally makes sense now. She's so dominant among the women in the German tribe.
And she also is really strong amongst the men as well, because you see her topple one of the men who is challenging her, and she starts to fight him and then make out with him.
That's right. Oh, they were doing more. They were grinding. I saw
there was some humping going on. And so in this photo right here, this is a moment where we got to see Ilithyia kind of in a weak and vulnerable position with Glaber, because one of her slaves is about to be crucified. And Ilithyia...
And she didn't even do anything.
Can't stop it. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But you know who recommended for her not to say anything? Lucretia, in her ear.
Yeah. Lie in wait for your time to strike.
Right, exactly. That's the way that Lucretia rolls. And she says, do not speak against him.
Oh, we got Ganni up here.
Okay, so this is Gannicus. What is he, slaying some of the Romans? This is when he was, I think, capturing Ilithyia.
Yeah.
And so we see him finally fighting in a strong position. The roles have changed. He is no longer being lackadaisical or passive. He's now being aggressive and taking his future into his own hands. And I think that we're going to, this is kind of a bit of a prediction, but I think that we're going to see him in the next episode possibly join forces with Spartacus. Possibly.
I think you're right.
What do we got next?
We got Sparty here.
Okay, Spartacus just once again showing how strong he is, his ability to fight. We saw him also in a previous scene start killing silently in the beginning of the episode. Didn't we see? This was the first time they struck without any sound, because they're very loud usually when they fight.
That's right, and this was very strategic, very well planned, very well played out. I did enjoy it. It reminded me of like stealth action video games.
They were like ninjas.
Yeah, they were taking some advice from the East on this one.
Great. Okay, what do we got next?
Glaber.
Glaber, and in the back of him we see the tattoo face man, who is no longer on the season with us. His time has gone and come, and I always tell people don't develop relationships with anyone because no one is susceptible to not dying on this show.
Yes.
Okay, next photo.
It's all the ones you sent me.
Oh, perfect then. We're good. I thought you had some extra ones, Sean.
Let's see if we can bring up mine, Phil. Got any of those up there? Oh, I see. I kind of see the one that I wanted to talk about, and I think that's going to be the one. Go bring it up. Yeah, right there. Okay, so that man right there, a little behind the scenes stuff. This is the stunt man who is actually heading the stunt team. He's the key stunt coordinator and fight coordinator. His name is Alan Poppleton. Okay.
Claps to Alan because he does a phenomenal job.
That guy, he has a very impressive resume, including he worked on Lord of the Rings.
Wow.
He did the fight sequences there. He worked on Xena back in the day.
Xena!
Everybody's staying around for Xena, from Xena all the way to now.
You know,
to
Lucy's
Spartacus.
probably pulling all her people in. She has her daughter working on set with her. She probably keeps her friends very close to her.
All the producers, Sam Raimi, Robert Tapper, they're keeping everybody around. You know, they work well with these people. They've developed relationships, obviously. He's also done Underworld. He did 30 Days of Night. And I forgot to mention this before. 30 Days of Night actually had Manu Bennett in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great
Remember
fact.
the friend, Josh Hartnett's character's friend?
Yes.
You remember the friend, the guy who ended up like, he abandoned his family or he was scared or something. Or he killed his whole family. That was Manu Bennett.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And
that's so crazy.
At the very end, he ended up getting turned into one of the vampires and he got his head chopped off.
Well, you know I love Manu, so now I have to go run it again just so I can see him.
So back to Alan. He also did Avatar. And coming up, he did.
So that means that at one point he worked with Emmaus at one point.
Oh yeah,
because he was an Avatar as well.
That's right, man. Everybody's got crazy connections.
I know.
So coming up in the next Expendables 2 movie later this year, he's going to be doubling for Jason Statham.
Nice.
Yes. And see, that's coming up when? 8/17 of this year. And then he's also the fight stunt coordinator for Hunger Games, which is coming out next couple of weeks.
So he's a pretty busy man.
So, hey, Alan, we're going to applaud you because you do awesome fight scenes.
I mean, because the gladiator scenes, I always say, look so real, so authentic. It never looks like it's a staged or that there's any stunt doubles. I've never, not one time, felt like there was a stunt double in any of those gladiator fighting scenes.
No, not at all. And next news and gossip. Next picture, please, Phil. Okay, so, that looks a little blurry. But it's okay. So anyway, on this is supposed to be my proof that Steven DeKnight tweeted back at me.
Ow!
I'm so happy,
man.
That's
so awesome.
What's good? It's a lot clearer on the viewer's side of it.
Oh, okay,
beautiful.
Oh, okay, excellent. So anyway, like near the top, he actually retweeted one of my tweets, and I actually asked him, so hey, like how done are you guys with this season? Have you guys done post-production? Have you finished editing everything? And he actually retweeted back at me, and he said yes. Bam! So that is awesome.
We got a yes from him.
Got a yes. He is very interactive with his fans on there.
I love that.
And I can't tell how many followers he has. Does it say on there? Anyway, I can't.
7,000.
Oh, he's got 7,000.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty awesome. And he's not following that many, so he's legit, man.
I mean, when the creator of Spartacus tweets back at you, you know that you are official.
I know.
You hear that, AfterBuzz fans? We get tweeted back from the creators.
I'm so glad.
Rock with us, okay?
He is actually, he had this, before he had this headshot of himself on his Twitter, and now he's got this awesome picture of it's like a body shot, like from waist up.
I saw
he's got
that,
a mid
those
shot.
like tattoos or something.
He's got crazy tattoos, man. And I saw that on the interview that I watched probably about a month ago, and I was so surprised. I was like, damn, this guy is, he's tatted, but he's also a fit guy too.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. I wonder if he trains with the gladiators.
So also, he replied, last week, he replied to someone who was tweeting at him regarding the word testify, which actually is a Roman word. And Roman men swore on the validity of their statements by swearing on their testicles.
Are you
know
serious?
that?
Oh my gosh.
That's what testify
spicy
comes
fact.
from. Very spicy, very spicy. And it's legit too. He tweeted this back at somebody.
Oh, wow.
So that was, when was it? Yeah, it was about 5-6 days ago.
So he likes to educate his fans as well, I see.
He does. He uses a lot of stuff from history. Also, still within the Twitter realm, a little conversation that was going on about a week ago. someone with @real Craig Parker, who is the actor we talked about last week, Gaius Claudius Glaber, he was actually tweeting and stuff and getting all interactive on there. And about 8 days ago, someone was tweeting at Viva Bianca and then Stephen Estes Knight, and sadly, it wasn't really Craig Parker.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. So. Crazy cyber drama over Twitter.
What?
And Leslie Ann Brandt, who is the former Naevia, she exposed it because she got a message from Craig Parker saying that, hey, saying that's not really me.
Right.
So very
That's why you see all these other Twitters out here that say the real Sean Over, or like that's yours. But like you have to make an official Twitter of your own because everybody will take your name once you've made it and create a Twitter off of your name. That's so crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff, man.
And replying as if you're the person, the audacity.
Yeah, how dare they? Just to get followers. Damn those people. And lastly, on my news and gossip, Erin Cummings, aka Sora, who was the wife of Spartacus in season 1.
Oh.
And she is now starring in a show that is on Netflix, Instant Watch, called The Ropes, and this was a show created by Vin Diesel.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So Vin Diesel's going into producing now.
Yeah, he created it, and he actually directed some of the episodes. And there's only 6 episodes. It's a very short series. I watched the whole thing.
Now
on
is this
Netflix
an action
already.
show? Because when Vin Diesel's on the scene, it's something's blowing up.
No, actually, it's not too much action. It's about bouncers in a New York
I
nightclub.
can see that too.
Yeah, and it's funny because I don't even know that all the actors' names aside from Erin Cummings, but there's this one guy that who's the main character pretty much. He reminds me of Vin Diesel, like the way he's buff and burly, and he just he kicks butt, and all these bouncers kick butt. But it's a really interesting show. I think you guys should check it out. It's very interesting. It's 25-minute episodes, 6 of them. That's it. And
oh wow!
You watch them all, you'll enjoy it. It's a very interesting change of pace. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's like the only way I can describe it, the way it feels, is kind of like maybe Entourage, but they're all bouncers instead.
Oh, but I can see that being pretty cool.
It was interesting.
Yeah, I can see that being a good show.
The way it's gritty and the way it's shot, I liked it. I enjoyed it a lot.
So what's her role on the show? What is she doing?
Well, Erin Cummings, she actually plays I guess, who's the person that the woman that's usually there with the list?
Oh, the host. So she kind of
yeah.
checks you in to the VIP tables.
Yeah, that's what she does on there.
Okay, this is a difference from Spartacus.
Yeah. So she's gone off to do other projects, and we do miss her. I hope I really wish that the writers on Spartacus would probably write her in a little bit.
Oh, kind of like haunting him?
Yeah, like have her do a dream sequence or something like that. That would be really interesting if that happened.
I'm sure we'll probably see that again, if not this season, then next one. Because she is the reason, and Lucretia even said that Spartacus keeps going after Glaber, seeking his vengeance. And so, hey, back to the show. Once Glaber's gone, Lucretia said that Spartacus will fall and leave Rome. Yeah. So yes, let's bring her back. Let's have a little dream of her.
A little dream sequence or haunting.
She is
nightmare.
the reason for this vengeance.
She is, absolutely. He refers to it a lot. And let's go ahead and we're almost wrapped up, man. We're going to talk about predictions now.
Yes, let's do our predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Very light on the predictions for me this time. But you said you had some good stuff.
So I kind of know that there's going to be a hot scene coming up between.
I like that.
Between Mira and Saxa. So I'm excited about that too because I kind of want to see them fighting again, and I want to see. I'm looking forward to hoping that Mira is going to kind of take control of the females in the group in the camp and train them more. Because it's one thing to have the guys train you, I think that's great, but I think that Mira's the strongest. And so I feel like she should kind of take these women under her wing, especially since she's Spartacus's right-hand woman.
It would be interesting if all the women started being archers. So
that would be a great concept.
And that would be the best way to back up all the men because obviously they don't have as much upper body strength,
right? And
the training, they can be just as deadly because they can do those what do you call it, the monkey jump?
The monkey jump, yeah, that's what Katrina Law was famous for in that one scene.
I think Gannicus is going to be hunted along with Ilithyia by Glaber. He's going to try to search for them. They're going to be somewhere in the forests like before. And Spartacus is going to encounter Glaber once again. I want to see them in the next episode encounter each other, have a little sortie, a little battle, some kind of skirmish, just to have people fall on either side. And it's going to be interesting. I want to see more mercenaries die too.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. Well, let's make that happen.
We just had that new guy, Octavius Tarsus. He was pledging his Sacramentum,
right,
his allegiance to Glaber. So I hope that comes up next time.
Well, I would love to see also there, of course, I would. This episode was very nice. It was very pleasant, but I would like to see more fighting next one because I mean those fighting scenes. I can't take notes. It's so intense. I would love to see Gannicus bring Ilithyia to the gladiators, to Spartacus in their camp, and then be able to use that as a weapon, as a tool, in order to kind of, I guess, intimidate Glaber, like what Gannicus is trying to do, but he needs the army. He needs the protection of the gladiators. So I would love for him to join forces with Spartacus.
Yeah, she's going to be a captured piece.
Right,
so
exactly.
That'll be very interesting to see.
And so now I'm wondering what Lucretia is going to do because
her plan kind of came apart.
Backfired.
Yeah.
And so now she's still under Ashur's, she has to do whatever Ashur says. And so I'm hoping that somehow she regains her strength back and that we see her do something. She may have to join the gladiators. What if she goes and talks to Spartacus?
Whoa.
I can see that happening.
Wow.
And there you have it, folks. We just gave you our fabulous predictions. Let's see if any of them come true. And stay tuned with us and rock out with us every Friday. This Saturday was an exception. Every Friday at 8 p.m. for Spartacus Season 2.
And don't forget to call into us, guys, when we're on live, 424-256-1729. That's our number. You can call in and chat with us over the phone. You can follow us on Twitter at AfterBuzz TV.
And you can follow us individually, too, if you have any Spartacus-related questions, comments, things you would like us to talk about. Also, leave comments on our iTunes page. When you download, let us know what you thought about each AfterBuzz episode that we do for Spartacus. Give us, some high points.
Comments, feedback.
Right. But you can follow me on Twitter at spicy_Mari, SPICY_MARI. And you can follow Sean
on at the Sean Overman on Twitter.
Exactly. So tune in, guys, every week to AfterBuzzTV.com. Thank you. And thank you to Bing and thank you to Phil. Bing is for doing, y'all.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.